Hello and welcome to today's video. So this is a really exciting, easy, simple one. This is literally just going to be my August wrap up. All the books I read in August, what did I think of them, how many stars did I give them, that general sort of thing. So if that's something you'd like to see, then keep watching. So during August I read a total of 7 books, which I'm quite happy with. I seem to be averaging like 6, 7, 8 most months, so still on average. And I also during August managed to complete my yearly goal of reading 52 books, so both of those things I'm really excited about, and now no matter how many books I read this year, it'll be more than my goals, which just feels absolutely amazing. So let's just get into the books. Here are the 6 physical books that I own, and then I also read one as an ebook. So let's start with The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. This is a continuation of The Handmaid's Tale. It is not technically classed as a sequel because we're following completely different characters, but I feel like we get a lot of clarity as to what was going on in The Handmaid's Tale, and it kind of sums a lot of things up. So I don't know whether you class this as a companion or just same world or what, but this was the first book of the month and I gave it 3 stars. It was alright, it was quite good. I didn't mind it, and it was a lot better than The Handmaid's Tale in my opinion. So this was rounded down to 3 stars, but I went for 3.5 altogether. For me, The Handmaid's Tale I didn't really enjoy that much, so I wasn't expecting a lot going into this as well, so that could have something to do with it. But I enjoyed it, it was alright. It was a quick read, it was a fast read. I listened to it on my library app, so via audiobook. It was fun. We followed 3 different characters, and there were definitely some characters that I preferred to others, and it was a bit tedious and a bit dragging along at points, but overall it was actually a fairly decent book. And if you enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale at all, then I would recommend reading this, because in my opinion it's considerably better. It is still the same writing style however, so if that's something you didn't click with, maybe give it a miss, but I read it anyway and went with it. So yeah, that was book 1. Then book 2 of the month was The Secret Circle, and this is The Captive Part 2 and The Powers. This is technically book 2.5 and book 3 in the series. I'm really enjoying this series. It seems quite difficult to be able to find the books that are any further on than this, but I'm going to keep hunting for them. And I gave this 4 stars. I don't think it was quite as good as the first book in the series, but it was up there and I really enjoyed it. It's like teen witch drama, and it's very much like Vampire Diaries, Mortal Instrument. Like if you enjoy that sort of like teen drama, like supernatural thing, you're probably going to really enjoy this. So I would say give it a go. Obviously I can't say a lot about it because it's not the first book in a series, but it carries on from the first book really well, and we have a lot of fun in this one and get to know the characters even more. And then I read Solitaire, and this one was one that I read audibly as well. I really enjoyed this. It was the weakest Alice Osman that I've read so far. It definitely wasn't her best book, but I really enjoyed seeing like Tori's story and where it all started. And I'm pretty sure she wrote this book when she was like 17, so like it really is truly amazing. I'm pretty sure this is like the debut novel, and I had fun with it. It was just a bit young for me now, but I still really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3 stars altogether, I believe. Yes, 3 stars altogether. It does deal with quite a lot of like heavy subject matter, so I would check the trigger warning first. Alice Osman does have an entire like trigger warning content guide on her website, so I will link that down below. But really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun. So especially if you're a bit younger, if you're more in the like age range, go for it. Then on to the 4th book of the month. I read Cinderella Is Dead. I've been so excited about this one. It's one that I was really excited for at the start of the year, and I purchased it a couple of months back now, and I'm so glad that I've read it. It was so much fun. It was so like creative and interesting. The basic premise of this is we start the story 200 years after Cinderella has died, and it's about that world and how it's adapted, how things are different, and there's a lot of bad stuff going on in this world. And our main character here, Sophia, is kind of setting things right in the world. She wants to sort it out, she wants to stop the evil king and get everything sorted, and it's a really great read, a really fun read, and a really fast read. I think I read this in like not much more than a day, so would recommend. I did only give this 4 stars. It wasn't quite like 5-star material for me, but it was a lot of fun and the world was really interesting. And we're also like, I feel like reading it, like you are rooting for the main character, so that's pretty good. Then the 5th read of the month was Fire. This is book 3. No. This is book 2 in the Grace Thing series. I started reading the Grace Thing series for the Grace Thing along, although I do think that has now been cancelled, but I'm loving it, so I'm still going with it. So yeah, book 2, Fire. We follow Fire, that's the name of the character, and it's the same world as what we saw in book 1, Grace Thing, but I think I have read that you can technically read it as a standalone. Personally, I'd read them in order. Grace Thing was amazing as well, but this was really good. It was set in like a different part of the world, we explored different things, but some characters did come into this story. It is technically a prequel, like the events that happen in this happened before the events that happened in Grace Thing, but we do see characters that we already know from the first book, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of danger, and of course this is like YA fantasy romance, so we have a really strong like lead female character. I feel like this is what this series is known for. We have the love interest, and we have some sort of story that needs saving. I don't want to say too much because again it is technically book 2, but I would 100% recommend this. Like, I am really loving this series so far. Then book 6 of the month was actually a book I read from NetGalley, and this is September 11, 2001, The Day the World Changed Forever. This is a graphic novel retelling of 9/11 and the day, the events, everything surrounding it, and also looking at it as like a 20 years later perspective. And it also, like, you know, it includes the pandemic, it includes stuff that's going on, and we see this event happen from like a lot of different perspectives. I would say there was no real new information in this. It was a very like well put together graphic novel. It had all the information. There were a few things it didn't delve into, which, as someone who kind of believes a lot of the conspiracy theories around this event, kind of wish it would have, but it kind of just dismissed them. But yeah, I would say it was a good read. I wouldn't say it was a fun read because, you know, it's a pretty shitty event, but obviously it's been 20 years, which is crazy, and it really reminded you of what happened and reminded you of that feeling. And I think it's good for both people who were like young when it happened, like me, and also people who weren't alive when this massive world changing event happened. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars overall. It's the first, like, I don't know if to class this as fiction or non-fiction, but like it's the first type of graphic novel that I've personally read that hasn't been completely story based. I wasn't 100% sure how to rate it, but I went with 4 stars and I really enjoyed it. Then last but not least, the 7th read of the month was The City of Shadows. I did do a bit of a semi-reading vlog for this, which will be coming up once I've read another book for that vlog, so keep your eyes open for that one. But I ended up giving it 2.5 stars, which is not amazing. It's a crime detective story and it was good, but it's set in 1934 and it concentrates a lot on the events and things that are happening that are kind of leading towards World War II happening. And a lot of the things that were happening and were being said, it kind of relied on our current knowledge. Even though it's a fiction book, it's a story and we're following this detective, it was really relying on us having knowledge already from World War II, and it seemed a bit lazy to me personally. And then there's also a lot of religious factors in this that I mean, they didn't add anything to the story honestly, and it was a lot of trudging through to get through that sort of section. So I didn't love this one, but it was alright, and I gave it 2.5 stars, which I guess is a bit of a crap way to end the month, but I think I had a pretty good reading month. So yes, that was all of the books that I read this month. I tried to do this pretty quick, pretty snappy, just get through them. What did I think? Quick summary, star rating sort of thing. A lot of these have already been featured in videos or Instagram posts this month, so I didn't want to go too in depth. Any links to any of that will be down below, as well as the books themselves. If you want to see my full reviews, Goodreads is down below, but except for that, I think that's everything. Do give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe down below if you would like to see more content like this, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye!